The Galactic Survey Corps had been thorough in their assessment. Commander Zethkar reviewed the holographic display one final time, his crystalline fingers dancing across the data streams that painted a picture of absolute desolation. The planet, designated as Kepler 442c, hung before him like a crimson jewel of death, beautiful from a distance, lethal up close. Atmospheric composition: 91% carbon dioxide, 8% nitrogen, trace amounts of sulfur compounds. His Aidvelthar recited in their melodic language. Surface temperature, averaging 57 degrees Celsius. Radiation levels, 14 times the galactic standard for habitable worlds. Seismic activity, constant. Verdict: uninhabitable by any known sentient species. Zethkar nodded, his bioluminescent patches dimming with finality. The Kitharan Empire had surveyed over 3,000 worlds in this sector alone, and this one ranked among the most hostile they'd encountered. Even the hardy Silthari mining colonies wouldn't attempt extraction operations here. The planet would be marked with the Crimson Warning Beacon, a universal signal that meant certain death for any who dared approach. Upload the data to the Galactic Archive, Zethkar commanded. Let this serve as a warning to all species. Some worlds are simply not meant for life. The survey ship departed, leaving behind only an automated beacon broadcasting its dire warning across subspace. For 17 standard cycles, that beacon transmitted its message of death to an empty cosmos until the day the humans arrived. Captain Sarah Chen studied the warning beacon's data with the same intensity her ancestors might have reserved for storm clouds on the horizon. Around her, the bridge of the UES Defiant hummed with quiet efficiency as her crew prepared for what the rest of the galaxy considered a suicide mission. "Ma'am, we're receiving another transmission from the Galactic Council. Communications," Officer Park reported. "They're strongly advising us to reconsider." Chen smiled grimly. The Council had been strongly advising humanity about a lot of things lately. Don't expand so quickly. Don't colonize marginal worlds. Don't push the boundaries of what's possible. The advice always seemed to come down to the same thing: know your place. "Tell the Council we appreciate their concern," Chen replied, "but we've got a schedule to keep." Below them, Kepler 442c rotated like a ball of fire and brimstone. The preliminary scans confirmed everything the Kitharan survey had reported and worse. Volcanic activity had increased. The radiation storms were more frequent. The atmosphere was somehow even more toxic than before. "It's perfect," whispered Dr. Elizabeth Okafor, the mission's chief xenogeologist. Her dark eyes gleamed with excitement as she watched the hellscape scroll past on the view screen. The geothermal energy potential alone could power a dozen colonies. And look at those mineral deposits. We're seeing concentrations of rare earth elements that would make Titan Station weep with envy. "What about the radiation?" asked Colonel James Murphy, the mission's military coordinator. His scarred face bore the stoic expression of a man who'd seen humanity's worst and still believed in its best. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their chief engineer, pulled up a holographic display of her latest design. Adaptive shielding using locally sourced materials. The volcanic glass can be processed into radiation-resistant composite panels. We build underground initially, then expand upward as we establish better atmospheric processors. "The heat," Murphy pressed. "Geothermal conversion systems. We turn the planet's hostility into our advantage," Tanaka replied, her fingers tracing elegant curves through the hologram. "Instead of fighting the environment, we make it work for us." Chen watched her team dissect the impossible challenge before them with characteristic human stubbornness. Where the galaxy's greatest survey experts saw only death, her people saw opportunity. Where others found obstacles, humans found solutions. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered. The first human footsteps on Kepler 442c were taken by automated construction drones, their metal bodies designed to withstand conditions that would kill most organic life within minutes. They descended through clouds of sulfuric acid and methane, their sensors mapping underground caverns and identifying the most stable geological foundations. Within 30 standard days, The first pressurized habitat modules were operational. Within 60 days, the first human colonists breathed recycled air in underground chambers carved from living rock. By the end of the first standard year, what the locals had started calling New Gibraltar hosted a population of 5,000 souls. The Galactic Council's first inspection arrived exactly 18 months after the initial landing. Ambassador Quilnath, a distinguished Altarian diplomat with decades of experience in first contact situations, had volunteered for what many considered a recovery mission. The humans, they assumed, would need evacuation from whatever disaster had befallen their foolish attempt at colonization. Instead, her shuttle descended through a transformed atmosphere. The acid clouds had been partially processed by massive atmospheric converters that rose like chrome trees from the planet's surface. Domed structures stretched across the landscape, connected by enclosed walkways that gleamed like silver veins against the red earth. "This is impossible," Quilnath whispered as her shuttle touched down on a landing pad that hadn't existed in any of the survey reports. Mayor Rodriguez, a weather-beaten woman whose laugh lines spoke of someone who'd found joy even in hell, greeted the delegation personally. "Welcome to New Gibraltar," she said, her universal translator rendering her words in perfect Altarian diplomatic dialect. "We hope you'll stay for dinner. Tonight's special is cave-grown mushrooms with volcanic spring water." The tour that followed challenged everything the galaxy thought it knew about habitability. Humans had built hydroponic gardens in chambers carved from solid rock. They'd tapped the planet's violent geological activity to power massive industrial complexes. Children played in sealed parks where earth trees grew under artificial suns powered by the same volcanic fury that had driven away every other species. How was all Quilnath could manage when she saw the central plaza, a vast underground space where fountains recycled purified atmosphere and holographic displays showed images of Earth's blue skies. "Stubbornness, mostly," Rodriguez replied with that same warm laugh. "That, and the fact that humans have never been particularly good at accepting impossible as an answer." 5 years later, New Gibraltar had become a major trade hub for the entire sector. The city's unique position allowed for deep space manufacturing, using the planet's abundant resources and limitless geothermal energy. Rare minerals flowed outward, while immigrants from dozens of species flowed in, all seeking their fortunes in the city that couldn't exist. The warning beacon still transmitted its message of death, but now it shared the frequency with another signal, one that spoke of opportunity, of human ingenuity, and of a species that had looked at hell itself and decided to build a home there. In the Galactic Archive, Kepler 442c's entry now carried 2 classifications: Uninhabitable by galactic standard and Human Colony World. Xenobiologists would spend decades studying how one species could so thoroughly transform the definition of the impossible. But on New Gibraltar, in the warm artificial light of human determination, nobody found it mysterious at all. They'd simply done what humans had always done when faced with the impossible. They'd gotten to work.